we can hear what sounds like all hell breaking loose. A crowd of about 150, 200 people, very angry, they're chanting, they're shouting. Against that, we see a skirmish line of law enforcement, and they look like they're ready to fire.
Leave the area!
My name is Nick Sturm. I'm a British photojournalist. I've been photographing the riots and protests in the US against immigration and customs enforcement. All of a sudden, I hear this loud bang. I've been hit, I've been hit, I've been hit. And I can see what looks like a lump of muscle, a lump of flesh, a lump of grizzle. We need to get him to hospital. Get a car, get a car. I'm laying across the rear seat of the car. With blood pouring out my leg, this device could explode in my leg and I will lose my leg. President Trump knows that immigration is a very emotive subject in the US.
We will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
What's been happening recently is ICE, which is Immigration and Customs Enforcement, have been out on the streets capturing, detaining and imprisoning people who are, in their eyes, in the US illegally.
It's just such a dangerous situation here.
Wow.
My phone blows up with text alerts from people on the ground, from news channels, showing pictures and video of men in military gear with bulletproof vests on and masks over their faces. They jump out, they storm into the building and they snatch people, cuff them quite violently, put them in back of their unmarked vehicles and drive off.
Now as they leave, we're starting to see more tear gas.
I came to the US in 2007 and pretty much everybody who lives in Los Angeles will probably know somebody pretty close to them who is undocumented or going through a process of documentation, working in restaurants, factories, driving taxis, working in construction. They are absolutely terrified. They have this decision, they can either go out and afford to feed their family for that day, but they run the risk of being picked up by ICE.
This is not okay. Hardworking people are being abducted off the streets.
This is causing quite a backlash. People are starting to get out there and protest. They see it as people having come into their community and snatched members, their neighbors, their friends, their workers.
We help the community. We help by doing the labor that people don't want to do.
As a photojournalist, you're there, you're documenting why things are happening, why people are there. I've got to be out there photographing this.
Chaos erupts here in LA County. Widespread immigration raids triggering protests from Paramount to downtown.
I'm with fellow photojournalist Tina Desiree Berg. As we arrive in Paramount, we can hear what sounds like all hell breaking loose. From the car, we can hear the bang of flashbangs going off. We can hear people chanting, we can hear police sirens. So we literally put the car in the first available spot and we run along the street. We see a crowd of about 150, 200 people that are clearly very worked up, very angry. They're chanting, they're shouting. And against that, we see a skirmish line of law enforcement.
You need to break up this assembly and leave the area now.
There's around 50 officers and they look like they're ready to fire.
Leave the area!
Law enforcement in Los Angeles have at their disposal a whole range of less lethal munitions, from pepper balls, small balls filled with pepper, like pepper spray. They're also a fairly standard caliber of 40mm. These are foam tip rounds meant to impact with people. They hit, they hurt like hell, they give you a big purple bruise for about a week. They also have what are generically termed as flashbangs. These are exploding devices. They should be fired above a crowd which represents a threat, into the air 20 or 30 feet above the crowd, where they explode with a loud, shocking bang. There's a lot of to and froing between the protesters and the law enforcement. Water bottles are being thrown, bits of concrete. The law enforcement sheriff's department are firing less lethals into the crowd. The atmosphere is very tense. The noise of their guns going off, the explosion of flashbangs, the chanting and shouting of the crowd, the stench in the air of pepper spray and tear gas. It burns your nose. It makes your eyes water. You get an irritating cough and scratch at the back of your throat that you just can't relieve. The stench and the memory of the stench never leaves you.
Tonight, President Trump signed an order to deploy 2,000 members of the National Guard in response to the protests.
The news that the National Guard are to be deployed really strikes fear into me. It's a dramatic moment, and I recall myself thinking, this is just going to get worse. This is now a national level that is being overseen by the White House and directed by Donald Trump. As night falls, it's like a battle zone. Protesters are throwing things, and law enforcement are responding by firing less lethals back towards the crowd. And I'm continuing to photograph and video what is going on. At the back of your mind, there's always this question, how much danger am I in? I've got my press credentials hanging around my neck. I've got a large professional camera in my hand. But it's also very stressful. I'm there considering, am I safe? All of a sudden, I hear this loud bang and get this excruciating pain in my leg. I instinctively grab down and I can feel something that appears to be an object in my leg. I realise I've got to get out of there. I hobbled away shouting, I've been hit, I've been hit, I've been hit. Oh, fuck, fuck, getting hit. I'm feeling so lightheaded, I'm sure I'm going to pass out or have a cardiac arrest. I've never felt pain like it.
Oh, shit. Shit,
You're bleeding?
At this point, I didn't know what I'd been hit by. I assumed it was a rubber-nosed projectile or maybe even one with paint, as I could feel some liquid pouring down my leg. A medic comes over. She says we've got to move him to safety.
Please don't shoot! We are all press! Don't shoot us! Okay, can you let us go without shooting us?
They tried to get my belt and my pants undone. I said, just cut them off. So with that, the medic grabs some scissors, cuts up my leg and my pants. Sorry. And this is the first time I actually see the injury. And I can see what looks like a lump of muscle, a lump of flesh, a lump of gristle sticking out, a 2-inch diameter hole in my leg, and my leg covered in blood. That's clearly what the liquid was. I feel I'm going to pass out. The next thing I know, I'm coming round. I have this strange, warm, safe feeling, and for a moment, I did not have a clue where I was. We need to get him to hospital. Get a car, get a car. I'm laying across the rear seat of the car with blood pouring out my leg, feeling lightheaded that again I could pass out any minute. This pain shoots down my leg, so intense. I'm in the ER room, and the first thing that strikes them is this injury looks like a bullet from a rifle. They have to cut my clothes off, and they realise we're covered in tear gas and pepper spray. And by them trying to cut my clothes off, they disturbed it, and all the medical staff are coughing and choking and their eyes are running. They have to evacuate the medical room. They go and get masks and come back fully masked up and search me from head to toe for an exit wound. They can't find one. I go for a CT scan, it's pretty shocking. The doctor shows me the screen. He says, we think there's something embedded in your leg. So I ask him, how big is it? It's 40 millimeters by 60 millimeters. I know exactly what it is. I'd got a less lethal munition embedded in my leg. This needs to be taken out by specialists. After the surgery, I'm lying in my hospital bed, and the surgeon comes to tell me that they successfully extracted an item from my leg. This is a 3D printed replica. It's usually called a flashbang. It's filled with explosives, but I'm still puzzled how this projectile that is supposed to be fired over the heads of crowd could end up in my leg. But what I found from pictures and videos was flashbangs flying through the air and impacting with objects and people as well. The first thing that strikes me once I realise what it is how lucky I am that if this is an exploding device, that it hasn't exploded in my leg. could have lost my leg. I'm in hospital for 4 days, 3 nights. I know an important date is coming up for our family. On Tuesday, my son Jacob is graduating high school, and I need to be there with him. On Monday, the physical therapist comes to see me, and I ask her, what have I got to do to prove to you that I can get out of here to go to my son's graduation? And she told me I couldn't do it. The most important day of his life so far, and I wasn't there with him. I believe that documenting world events is at my core. It's what I was born to do. But when you go out there and your family's at home and you don't know whether you will come back that night, I question whether it's right for me to continue doing that now. But then, isn't this exactly what they want? Isn't this exactly why law enforcement are targeting journalists?
You just shut the fuck up! You okay?
During 2025, we've seen the erosion of rights, with people being picked up by ICE, not given due process. Now, if immigrants aren't given due process, who will be? And equally, with media being attacked, our rights as journalists are being eroded as well. A country doesn't become an authoritarian regime overnight. It's a gradual process. And I think anybody looking at the US can see that's the way we're going. At the moment, we're seeing police, law enforcement, and so on using less lethal munitions. I think it's only a matter of time until we see live rounds being used on protesters. That is terrifying. I'm actually asking myself now, are we actually creeping towards a civil war here in the US?